Sitting here with Greg Snelling, General Manager from Ray Ford. Greg, how are you today?
Doing great, Steve.
Good. Just wanted to take a few moments and get some feedback from you on your Reynolds & Reynolds automated dispatching application. If you could maybe just tell us some highlights and explain where you were at one time and what the system's done for you. I'd love to hear about that.
Easy enough. Steve, we started back in basically August, I think, is about the time we first spoke and contacted you. And the situation our store was having at the time was it ran the gamut of anything bad that could go on as far as service and dispatching and time management. My customer viewpoint scores were in the ditch, and just everything was basically out of control and chaotic. We had a dispatch person working for us. Things were not going good with him. He up and left us kind of in a high and dry position, and that was at the time when I got to looking in and seeing, kind of getting a handle on what our processes were actually back in service and handling our inventory of cars. And the deeper I looked, the more confusing it got. I mean, too many hands in the kitty. The technicians were making decisions. My service writers were all making decisions, and I think everybody was well intentioned, but the end result was terrible efficiency in working our cars and getting our cars processed. So that's basically the time we contacted you. We are Reynolds & Reynolds is our DMS system, and we've been paying for an automated dispatching system forever, and we never utilized it. We never had the training to utilize it, and had nobody in the store very familiar with the process. So that's about the time you came in, and it was pretty easy walking in the door to see that we had a 2 or 3 week backlog of work. No rhyme or reason to much of anything. Like I say, the thing that got me back there from the get-go was basically upset customers and terrible customer viewpoints with our manufacturer. So Steve came into the store, and it took training from the back end to the front end, but basically brought everybody up and taught us how to use our dispatching system, taught us how to work our time management, how to work our inventory. And it's gone from a disaster in August, second visit in here. We've made some huge progress, and we're continuing to make some. But now as a general manager or a service manager or any of my service advisors, they have an opportunity now. I can pull up my inventory here for the next week and know what I'm looking at and know what I actually have. It's not always perfect, but it gives us a real snapshot of where we stand. Mm-hmm. So it's enabled us to move into some appointment setting with some of our service customers, and just a lot more confidence when we're talking to customers on estimated time of completions. It's a very user-friendly program once you have the proper training on it, but that is the key thing. Reynolds and ADP and all these companies will sell you this, but they're really not equipped to train you on it. And that's been the biggest difference in our store. We've gone from a 2 or 3 week backlog and total confusion to a couple days of backlog and a little bit of control on where we are in this process. So that's the biggest step we've made in our service department in years right there. So I feel today like I have training. I've received training. I know what to look for now, what to watch for, what to coach on, and it's a continual process. This system will still do probably a lot more than we're capable of doing at this point, but we've made the commitment through you and some proper training to get back in here with us a few times, probably have you back in 6 months. We'll probably try to move to some tier 2 type training, and it's just been wonderful. And it does kind of ruffle a few feathers. You've got to break some old habits, and all my employees, as well intentioned as they were, just having too many people with their hands in the kitty trying to manipulate jobs and stuff, and everybody think it speeds it up. It does just the opposite. It slows it down to pure gridlock. So,
sure.
Steve, you've been real helpful, tremendously helpful with that. We've done a lot of training on the service aisle, just basic processes from our meeting and greeting, write-ups have gotten a lot better. We're trying to work on staying in contact with our customers a lot better. And we've also integrated a real active delivery with our service writers back to the customers at the time of picking up their vehicles. So far we're pleased. We're going to just keep working on it and try to move it to the next level.
Great. Well, thanks, Greg. You guys have done a great job, and I appreciate your time and input. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sitting here at Ford of Murfreesboro and speaking with TJ, the service manager. Hey TJ, just wanted to get some insight on the improvements that you've had with your rentals dispatching system.
We've been working on it probably about 2.5 months now. When we first started, really a difficult time with productivity, probably running about 73%. Now we're running about 86 to 90%. We've seen our weekly numbers go from about 410 hours of flat rate time turned to about 580. So seeing a big increase there, a big increase in total numbers, money coming in the door. So overall, we've actually done quite well, being able to take in pretty much anything that we want to at this point.
Good. And what kind of what information are you using to know if you can take in vehicles or when to accept the job assignment, if you don't mind?
Usually looking at 3340. You can also look at 3330. Look at what time you have available for the day and what hours that you have to sell.
Why don't you show us that, if you will?
Looking here, you can look at your 3340. Tell you what you have left for the day here.
Okay.
You can also look at your 3330, which also shows you time that you have sell in the future by day. We do use that a lot. We also use our route sheet as far as routing in what's coming in and what's due into the shop. That has helped greatly with keeping up with everything in the shop.
Okay. That sounds great. And let me ask you at this point early on, would you go back and would you ever shut the system off at this point?
At this point, I wouldn't even dream of it.
Why is that, if you don't mind me asking?
The biggest reason why is just makes things a lot simpler, manageable. You know, you're not running around trying to put things into the shop manually. You're just letting the system run, and that gives you more time to do what you need to do with taking care of the customer.
Great. Hey, thanks so much, TJ. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Sitting with George from Ford of Murfreesboro. And George, I'd like to get a little information on your automated dispatching application.
Well, sure, Steve. You know, for years and years and years, I had been here and actually had my dispatching system turned on, and we manually ran it with our service writers. And, you know, without any direct help, we very struggled with it, and we were barely using it. And typically, we found the same general situations that other dealers had, is that if you don't work the system, the people will manipulate it, and that's what was happening. And unfortunately for our customers, they weren't getting taken care of as rapidly as we like to see them. They weren't getting the answers that they needed. So with Steve's help, we were able to really get on the program with the dispatching. I was able to elevate one of my service writers to a production manager, and so I had somebody now watching the dispatch system, and that allowed my technicians to pull more work. It allowed us to sell more hours. We're in our third month now of being fully integrated. What we found happen immediately was my cars were getting ate up by the technicians. They were eating them up, spitting them out. They were done. We found ourselves out of work as predicted, and it allowed us and our appointment coordinator to actually sell more work based on the dispatching system becoming very true to form, if you will. So when we would see hours that were available, he was able to fill our schedule. It is a huge part of our increase in our RO count. Our retail RO count is up 30% year to date now because of that. And we're able to answer the questions to our customers. We've seen our VOC scores go up and stay consistently up. So it's been a win-win. We had, in fact, had a meeting today with the technicians, and they all agreed that nobody has lost productivity, and if anything, they like it because the system is fair. It pulls it by the job, by skill level. You know, so it's been a great thing for all of us. We are meeting with the advisors, and so far we've met with 2 of them, and they both agree that it's made their life a lot easier. So we've got a couple more things to do, but I don't see it altering or changing the way we do business. In fact, it makes us better, and it puts us a couple steps ahead of our competition, I believe.
Great, good work, George. And let me ask you, now, do you feel you become more efficient overall by using the application?
Overall, yes. We're way more efficient by doing it. And, you know, I used to cringe at waiters waiting for that vehicle to get in, and now I walk by it and they get done. They get done. I'll tell you what's great for a service manager, service director, I don't have any complaints from customers about waiting too long.
Good, great. Well, keep up the good job.
Thank you.
Thank you, George.
Back with Greg Snelling again. Hey, Greg. Greg's going to get into the service advisor screen and point out some highlights that he found interesting for him and his team as far as information. What are they, Greg, if you could please tell us?
Steve, one thing, and it helps the service advisors tremendously, but anybody else in the service department, we're able to pull up a ticket now. It's going to easily show us the status of that current job. This job right now is in a working status. It'll give us some dates on, when we promised this vehicle, maybe when the estimated completion time is, how many hours into the job we are, and this is something we're constantly updating throughout the day. If a vehicle gets put on a parts hold or an authorization hold, we're constantly monitoring and updating, so when we go to our route sheet or we go to our inventory, it gives us an accurate picture of kind of where we are.
Mm-hmm.